Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Parents First, the first online provider of brain-based experiential learning programs focused entirely on improving parents' lives. Parents First is dedicated to strengthening you as an individual, a parent, and a family member. I'd like to go over with you now a new quotient. We talked in the last video about IQ and EQ and all of these different quotients that measure our capacities for addressing the challenges and opportunities of life. Today we're going to talk about the Parenthood Quotient. Why is this so important? Well, you know that old story, which came first, the chicken or the egg? In our point of view, there is no question. Which came first, the parent or the child? The parent comes first. Parents First is what our company's name is, and that's a clue. The centrality of parenthood has everything to do with what's possible for your children, what their future looks like, and of course, for what your experience is as a human being in this phase of life we call parenthood. So look at this little pyramid. It reminds me of a Mayan pyramid, but you notice at the bottom is parenthood. And on top of parenthood rests childhood, and then on top of childhood is personhood. So the foundation is you. Parenthood creates the environment on which childhood rests. And out of childhood, the person that your child will become comes right out of that. So this becomes a cyclical thing where parenthood begets childhood, childhood begets personhood, and it goes like that. And then the person goes to the bottom and becomes the parent, and so on. And why is this important? Because there is a transgenerational impact of the strengths and weaknesses that you as a parent inculcate into your children. So let me use myself as an example. My parents were good Jewish parents in the 50s and 60s doing their best to raise me and my sister. And as the oldest son, the oldest child, I was expected to excel at everything. I should be a doctor or a lawyer, but that's not really what I wanted to do. Nonetheless, my expectations that I had to live up to, of course I didn't know this as a child, but coming home with a report card, all A's and one B, and the only thing my parents would talk to me about was the B. When I was about 10, I used to work with my dad at a family clothing store that my larger family owned. I would go in on Saturdays, and one time on the way home, I told my dad, I really look forward to the day when I can be in the business with you. And he looked at me. Of course, he was driving, so he looked and kind of looked away. And he said, Mitch, that's not good enough for you. We expect more of you. This is the kind of transgenerational impact parents have, because we hear these things as children and they go into our hearts. So what I heard at that moment was my dad wanted something more for me, but on another level he was ashamed that what he did running a clothing store wasn't good enough. So I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me to really excel, to have my career be something special. What if my parents had the opportunity to really look at themselves and feel proud of who they were and pass on that kind of nurturing environment? How would I have felt as a child, whether I chose to go in the clothing business or do what I eventually did, which was go into government and then training and education? So this thing we call the Parenthood Quotient is all about your capacity to create a nurturing environment and to interrupt the negative transgenerational impacts that unconscious parenting can have on our children. So take a look at our Parenthood self-appraisal, which is on the homepage of our website. And you can click below to go there, or go to parentsfirst.net and appraise yourself. And if you click on the link below for the next video, we'll be talking more about how that self-appraisal can be improved for you and for your children. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.